But what Ryan Reynolds, has seemingly done, right, is used his power and influence to not only help Blake Lively take over this movie, but he's used it, on Deadpool and to make fun of Justin Baldoni. And I'm unaware of any other, of any, frankly, HR complaints that have been filed. And I think if you look through the website and you look through the documents, you can see clearly from certain documents that there were no HR complaints filed.
Right.
Hollywood lawyer Bryan Freedman just dropped a bombshell that has the entire entertainment world on edge. The high-profile attorney claims to have explosive evidence revealing a shocking connection between Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds, one that goes far beyond their marriage. But what exactly has Blake Lively been hiding about her relationship with Reynolds? According to Freedman, this revelation could expose a pattern of behavior that might irreparably damage her carefully constructed public image. And trust me, this isn't just another celebrity rumor. This is something much bigger.
His attorney, Bryan Freedman, is trying to taint the jury. He is defaming Blake and Ryan Reynolds, and we want something done about this, Judge. They want sanctions, but Bryan Freedman is very clearly not backing down and says that really what Blake is doing is trying to hide the truth from the public. And
in Hollywood's cutthroat legal landscape, one name sends shivers down the spines of A-listers and studios alike: Bryan Freedman. But Freedman isn't your typical entertainment lawyer who simply files paperwork and negotiates contracts. No, he's built his reputation as Hollywood's most feared attorney, a legal gladiator who doesn't enter the arena unless he's confident of victory. And right now, his sights are locked on Blake Lively. When Freedman puts a celebrity in his crosshairs, careers don't just stumble, they crumble. His client roster is a who's who of Hollywood power players: Kevin Spacey during his sexual misconduct allegations, Megyn Kelly in her $69 million exit negotiation with NBC, and most recently, Johnny Depp in his explosive defamation case. The pattern is unmistakable. Freedman doesn't just win, he obliterates his opponents. A former colleague who asked to remain anonymous says it best: when Bryan takes on a case, he's already 10 steps ahead. He builds fortresses of evidence before making a single public move. He's not throwing darts in the dark. He's a strategic missile launcher with pinpoint precision. Freedman's approach to Lively follows this exact playbook. First, the warning shot, a carefully crafted statement or legal letter hinting at the arsenal he's ready to unleash. And insiders confirm that Freedman has been methodically gathering evidence against Lively for months. He's compiled testimonies from various film sets and industry events, presenting a drastically different picture of Blake than the image she's spent years curating. The timing could not be worse for Lively. With her recent directorial ambitions and expanding lifestyle brand partnerships, Freedman's emerging case threatens to derail years of career momentum. Sources close to the situation claim Freedman waited until Lively reached her highest career point, a tactic he's used to devastating effect with other celebrities. Perhaps the most revealing aspect is the industry's reaction. Producers and directors who once courted Lively are now mysteriously citing scheduling conflicts. A casting director at a major studio confided, "Nobody wants to get caught in the crossfire when Freedman starts firing. His cases are surgical, and the collateral damage can end careers. We're all watching from a safe distance." What makes Freedman particularly dangerous is his selectivity. Unlike many Hollywood attorneys who take on any high-profile client with deep pockets, Freedman only accepts cases he's certain he can win. Bryan doesn't bluff, says an entertainment reporter who's followed his career. When he makes a claim, there's a mountain of evidence backing it up. The question isn't whether Freedman has dirt on Lively, it's just how deep it goes. Rumors have been swirling in Hollywood that Freedman's interest in Lively comes from first-hand accounts of behavior that dramatically contradict her carefully crafted public persona. Multiple sources say he's obtained text messages, emails, and sworn statements from former colleagues that could expose years of alleged misconduct. Misconduct that, according to sources, Ryan Reynolds allegedly helped conceal. For Lively, the threat isn't just legal, it's existential. Her entire brand is built on being likable, relatable, and professional. If Freedman's evidence proves substantial, the image she spent years perfecting could be shattered overnight. As one publicity expert put it, celebrities can survive many scandals, but they rarely recover from being exposed as frauds. If what Freedman has goes to the core of who she presents herself to be, we might just be witnessing the beginning of the end.
It's the way Ryan Reynolds got so involved in this, that there was that meeting at their penthouse where he confronted Justin and allegedly screamed at Justin. And we were talking about what brought all of this on. Was it that Blake was going home and expressing her dismay at things that were happening with him?
The picture-perfect romance that we've all swooned over between Blake Lively and Ryan Reynolds has a darker origin story than anyone ever realized. Their meet-cute on the set of Green Lantern in 2011 may be Hollywood legend, but what happened when the cameras weren't rolling has been buried under mountains of NDAs and carefully crafted PR spin, until now. Multiple crew members from the superhero flop have begun speaking out, and their consistent accounts are painting a troubling picture, one that they've dubbed the Jawhide incident. According to 3 separate production assistants who worked closely with the stars, Blake Lively displayed radically different behavior depending on whether Ryan Reynolds was on set. She was absolutely charming when Ryan was around, says one former crew member who requested anonymity due to fear of career repercussions. But the minute he left, it was like a switch flipped. Screaming matches with costume designers, refusing to acknowledge certain crew members, it was shocking to witness. The most disturbing allegations center around a particularly tense week of filming in Louisiana, when Reynolds was called away for reshoots on another project. During this time, Lively allegedly targeted a female supporting actress, demanding script changes that would reduce the actress's screen time and insisting on separate filming schedules. What makes these claims especially credible is the paper trail. Despite signing restrictive NDAs, several production assistants kept detailed notes of these incidents, what they called their survival documentation, and some even exchanged text messages describing what they witnessed. One message, reportedly in Freedman's possession, reads, "Day 42, BL went ballistic again. Had to comfort, actress name redacted, in her trailer for an hour. How much longer can this go on?" The studio was apparently aware of these issues. An assistant director on the film claims they compiled a report for executives detailing the hostile work environment, complete with dates, times, and witness accounts. That report, however, mysteriously disappeared. Shortly after, 2 assistant producers who had voiced concerns were reassigned to different projects. When Reynolds eventually learned about these incidents from a makeup artist who had witnessed them firsthand, sources say it created significant tension in their budding relationship. There was genuine concern they might not make it as a couple, reveals a person who worked closely with the film's publicity team. Ryan confronted her about it, and there was a period where they barely spoke off camera. The reconciliation that followed set the tone for what would become their relationship dynamic. Reynolds reportedly took on the role of damage control specialist, personally reaching out to those who had been affected and using his considerable charm to smooth things over. One of the most damning pieces of evidence Freedman allegedly possesses is a recorded conversation between 2 executives discussing the Lively situation and strategizing how to contain the incidents to protect the film's marketing campaign, which heavily featured the stars' undeniable chemistry. What makes this revelation so particularly explosive is that it directly contradicts everything Lively has cultivated in her public image. Her brand is built on being the ultimate girl next door, the wholesome professional actress, who bakes cookies for crew members and maintains lifelong friendships with co-stars long after filming ends.
Justin Baldoni's team clearly also declaring the win, as TMZ is also reporting it, scored a legal win because there was no gag order placed. That's what Blake Lively was trying to do. Blake was also trying to not have this lawyer, Bryan Freedman, depose her, and she lost that as well. So while they're spinning it in their favor, yes, Bryan's got to be a little bit more careful. Clearly, he's still out there making statements, just like Blake Lively's team is doing. He doesn't seem to be releasing anything else, and I suspect we're going to start getting less from this side.
While Blake Lively was busy perfecting her girl-next-door persona, Ryan Reynolds was allegedly orchestrating Hollywood's most impressive damage control operation. The charming actor, known for joking about his marriage on talk shows, has reportedly been the mastermind behind a sophisticated system designed to protect not just his wife's reputation, but their entire brand empire, which is worth hundreds of millions. According to sources close to Freedman's investigation, Reynolds didn't just know about his wife's alleged behavior. He actively worked to ensure nobody else would. Ryan operates with surgical precision when it comes to protecting their image, reveals a former publicist who worked with the couple. He knows exactly who to call, what to say, and how much it will cost to make problems disappear. The operation reportedly began with a network of trusted industry insiders. Reynolds allegedly utilized relationships built over his decades-long career to identify potential threats before they could turn into public scandals. A production coordinator who witnessed this system firsthand described it as a well-oiled machine that activated the moment anyone raised concerns about Lively's on-set behavior. Financial records uncovered by Freedman's team suggest Reynolds personally authorized payments ranging from $25,000 to $150,000 to individuals who threatened to go public with unflattering stories about Lively. These settlements weren't processed through normal studio channels, but rather through shell companies connected to Reynolds' business ventures. The paper trail was deliberately complicated, explains an entertainment attorney familiar with similar arrangements. Anyone following the money would hit dead ends, they say, intentionally designed to protect the couple. Perhaps most damning are the text messages Freedman has reportedly obtained between Reynolds and a high-level producer at Warner Brothers. In one exchange, dated 3 days after a particularly volatile incident, Reynolds allegedly wrote, "Situation handled. No paperwork, no trail, just like we discussed." The producer's response? "Worth every penny. Your wife owes you one." Reynolds' alleged cover-up operation extended beyond financial settlements. 3 separate sources confirmed he personally reached out to entertainment journalists who were investigating workplace complaints, offering exclusive access to other stories in exchange for burying anything negative about Lively. He'd call up editors directly and say, "I've got something better for you," claims a former entertainment reporter. And when Ryan Reynolds offers you an exclusive, you listen. While these tactics successfully protected Lively from public scrutiny, they left a trail of career casualties. At least 4 industry professionals who refused to participate in the cover-up found themselves mysteriously removed from projects or unable to secure work on major productions. Once you're labeled difficult for not playing ball with the Reynolds Lively machine, your phone stops ringing, explains a former casting assistant who witnessed the fallout firsthand. The timeline of events reveals a stark contrast. As Reynolds' star continued to rise with billion-dollar franchises like Deadpool, those who experienced the alleged darker side of his wife's behavior found their careers stalling or ending altogether. He built an empire on being the nice guy while methodically eliminating anyone who threatened to expose the truth about his wife, says an industry veteran who requested anonymity. What's particularly jarring about these allegations is how they transform our understanding of Hollywood's golden couple. Their relationship wasn't just about love and family. It allegedly functioned as a strategic business partnership, where Reynolds provided the protection and Lively maintained the marketable image that kept endorsement deals flowing and audience goodwill intact. Behind that strategic business partnership lies a paper trail so explosive it could shatter Hollywood's golden couple forever. Bryan Freedman isn't just making wild accusations. He's sitting on a mountain of evidence that industry insiders are calling career-ending for Blake Lively. What exactly does this high-powered attorney have that's making even the most loyal Team Blake supporters nervous? Let's get specific. According to sources who spoke on condition of anonymity, Freedman has obtained Lively's personal correspondence, dating back 5 years, including private emails where she allegedly discusses certain co-stars in language that would make her carefully cultivated, women-supporting women image crumble instantly. In one particularly damaging exchange, Lively reportedly refers to a popular actress as completely replaceable and suggests to producers they should find reasons to limit her scenes after the actress voiced concerns about equal pay. But the bombshell evidence doesn't stop there. Freedman has allegedly secured voice recordings from Lively's trailer on 3 separate productions, where her true feelings about colleagues burst through the carefully maintained facade. In one recording, she can reportedly be heard mocking a female director's capabilities and suggesting that her husband should take over certain scenes, while publicly championing female filmmakers in interviews. Even more shocking are the sworn affidavits from 7 former personal assistants who describe a toxic work environment. One assistant claims they were fired after refusing to spread negative rumors about a costumer who had accidentally fitted Lively's dress too tight. Another describes being tasked with creating fake social media accounts specifically to post negative comments about actresses competing for roles Lively wanted. The financial paper trail Freedman has assembled paints an equally troubling picture. Banking records reportedly show a pattern of payments to social media consultants coinciding perfectly with sudden online backlash against actresses who were up for the same roles as Lively. The timing is impossible to dismiss as coincidence, says one source familiar with the evidence. These campaigns started within days of Lively losing out on roles she wanted. Perhaps most disturbing are the detailed accounts from makeup artists and costume designers who were allegedly blacklisted after refusing to participate in what one called the Lively machine. These professionals, some with decades of experience, found themselves suddenly unable to secure work on major productions after minor disagreements with the actress. Freedman has collected statements from casting directors who admit receiving calls warning them not to hire certain individuals because they were difficult, calls that allegedly came from Reynolds' production company. What makes all this evidence particularly damning is its consistency across different productions, time periods, and witnesses who never work together. This isn't one disgruntled employee with an axe to grind, explained an industry veteran familiar with Freedman's case. It's a pattern documented by dozens of people who don't know each other but tell identical stories. The crown jewel in Freedman's evidence collection might be what sources describe as a playbook document discovered on a shared drive used by Lively's team. This digital file allegedly outlines strategies for undermining potential rivals, managing public perception, and identifying industry professionals who could be manipulated to advance her career at others' expense. The manipulative playbook Blake Lively allegedly used isn't just damaging evidence, it's rapidly becoming the professional death sentence of her career. As Hollywood's elites scramble to distance themselves from the toxic fallout, major studios aren't simply pausing projects, they're completely erasing her name from consideration. Universal Pictures has quietly shelved their $40 million romantic comedy that had Lively attached as the lead. Inside sources reveal that executives are already meeting with replacement actresses. The industry blacklisting is happening with shocking speed. 3 casting directors from different major studios have implemented what they are calling the Lively moratorium, effectively halting all consideration for her in upcoming projects. At this point, it's not even about whether the allegations are true, says a veteran casting director who requested anonymity. Nobody wants their project tainted by association. The risk is too great. The financial consequences have already started to hit hard. Lively's upcoming skincare line, a $15 million investment set to debut next quarter, has been indefinitely postponed by nervous investors. Her partnership with luxury fashion brand Valentino, worth an estimated $8 million annually, now hangs in the balance as executives consider triggering the morality clause in her contract. What's particularly devastating is how swiftly her carefully cultivated image as Hollywood's golden girl has unraveled. For years, Lively positioned herself as the ultimate female entrepreneur, lifestyle guru, and devoted mother. Now, that same persona is making the allegations of behind-the-scenes manipulation all the more damaging. Blake built her brand on authenticity and likability, explains entertainment analyst Morgan Fairchild. When you market yourself as the perfect friend, wife, and colleague, being exposed as potentially manipulative and vindictive creates a betrayal that audiences can't easily forgive. Fairchild estimates that the total financial impact could exceed $75 million when factoring in lost future earnings and devalued current endorsements. Even more telling is the deafening silence from industry figures who would normally rush to defend a star of Lively's caliber. Her representatives have reached out to dozens of A-listers requesting public statements of support, but the response has been minimal. Only 2 former co-stars have issued carefully worded statements, neither directly refuting the allegations, but merely praising her professionalism on their specific projects. The entertainment industry's memory is proving remarkably short. Despite headlining successful films and building a lifestyle empire, Lively is now facing what insiders are calling instant persona non grata syndrome. Award ceremonies that once eagerly showcased her are quietly ensuring she won't be invited. to present. Magazine editors who previously featured her on covers are canceling planned photo shoots. Perhaps most damaging is how thoroughly this scandal has undermined her meticulously crafted marketing strategy. For years, Lively positioned herself as a champion of women in film, frequently discussing the importance of supporting other actresses. The revelation that she may have actively worked to sabotage female colleagues makes her previous statements appear calculated and hypocritical. There's a special place in Hollywood hell for women who position themselves as feminist allies while secretly sabotaging other women, notes celebrity image consultant Rebecca Hyland. Audiences will forgive many things, but that level of calculated deception isn't one of them.
Having something to do with me that turned the tide. I mean, the reason to put the information out there is just because of who he is. It's the truth. It's just the truth. And the reality is
that calculated deception has now trapped Blake Lively, and her desperate attempts at damage control are only making things worse. Instead of directly addressing the allegations, she's orchestrating a behind-the-scenes campaign that reeks of guilt. Her team released a statement calling Freedman's claims baseless and malicious. Notice how they attacked the messenger without ever specifically denying any incidents. That carefully crafted wording speaks volumes. What's even more revealing is how Lively's representatives have been scrambling to reach potential witnesses before they can talk to journalists. According to entertainment reporter Sandra Mitchell, Blake's team has been making preemptive calls to everyone who worked on her last 3 productions, essentially trying to establish their version of events before Freedman can depose them. This classic intimidation tactic is raising red flags across the industry. Legal threats have been flying fast and furious too. At least 5 major entertainment outlets received cease and desist letters within hours of Freedman's initial statement, warning of significant legal consequences for publishing his claims. But industry insiders have noticed something odd. These letters focus entirely on demanding verification rather than outright denying the allegations. It's almost as if her legal team knows certain stories will eventually surface, and they're just buying time. Meanwhile, Lively has mysteriously developed scheduling conflicts for appearances on 3 major talk shows where she was set to promote her latest projects. These cancellations came within 48 hours of Freedman's first public comments, timing that's hard to dismiss as mere coincidence. She was confirmed for these appearances for weeks, says former booking agent Taylor Aretz. You don't suddenly develop conflicts for multiple high-profile shows unless you're avoiding tough questions. Her social media strategy has also undergone a dramatic shift. Once filled with glamorous promotional content, her accounts now feature nothing but family photos and heartwarming moments with her children. Social media strategist Marcus Terror explains the transparent tactic. She's retreating to her safest identity, being a mom. It's a calculated attempt to remind the public of her most sympathetic role while suddenly framing the attacks on her as attacks on a family. The posts have gone from weekly to almost daily since the scandal broke. Behind the scenes, Lively has been working the phones frantically. 3 studio executives have confirmed receiving personal calls from her, seeking assurances that their working relationships won't be affected. It felt like she was fishing for public support statements, one executive admitted anonymously. But nobody wants to stick their neck out until they know exactly what evidence Freedman has. Perhaps most revealing is the small army of crisis management specialists now on Lively's payroll. She's reportedly hired not 1 but 3 separate firms at a combined cost of over $100,000 weekly. Crisis manager Daniel Rodriguez, who isn't involved but is familiar with such operations, notes that this level of investment suggests real panic. You don't spend that kind of money unless you're expecting something catastrophic and need multiple damage control strategies running simultaneously. The hourglass is nearly empty for Blake Lively as Bryan Freedman prepares to unleash his full arsenal of evidence. Hollywood is collectively holding its breath, waiting for what industry insiders are calling a career extinction event, unlike anything we've seen in years. The next 72 hours will determine whether Lively's carefully crafted empire can withstand this tsunami of allegations, or if it will collapse entirely under the weight of Freedman's revelations. Some PR experts believe her team is already preparing for the worst. One thing is absolutely certain. The picture-perfect fairy tale Blake and Ryan once sold to America is shattered beyond repair, and the golden couple's legacy is forever tarnished.